So hello again, Adel. Hello and welcome everyone. Hi, Ahmed, Alex, Antonella, Chris, Dimitra, Emre, George, John, Stamatina, Vasileos. So people will be joining from now on. Hi, Sandra. I want to let you know that the meeting is recorded, and it will be updated to our YouTube channel tomorrow, so you can rewatch it there if you want, or share it with your the people around you that could be interested in this topic. My name is Slim. I'm the co-director of product at Social Hackers Academy. And today we have with us Adel Batel. Thanks for joining again, Adel. And
thank you for having me.
Generally, the way we do our webinars is that I present SHA and what we are doing and so on. But since you were part of SHA at some point, and I think even before I joined SHA, so maybe let's change the way we used to do it for this time, if you are okay with that, and you let us know about your experience back then when you were studying and so on. So what do you think?
Yeah, sure. So hi everyone. We're okay, Salim?
Yes, yes.
Should I go on? Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So hi everyone. My name is Adel, as Salim said. I studied in SHA before. Not for a long time, actually it was years ago. And for some time I studied there, and we were learning web development. I'm not sure about the state of SHA right now, but I've seen that you guys have done great work, and over the years, and the words have been spreading a lot. A lot of graduated students, a lot of people that graduated from your academy are saying good things about the academy, which is great. I say great things all the time because I know it's worth it to be there, and I'm always in for people who make developers and people who help other people to become developers and be part of the technology world, because I'm part of it, and I'm telling you, it's great.
Yeah, it is.
It's fantastic. So
when you joined SHA, I think it was like before COVID, when things were online, right?
Many years ago. It was in 2000. It was when it was. I was with the first class, I think, with the first group of people.
Okay. So back in 2017, I think.
2017, yeah. So yeah, 2017. I think I was part of the first group. At the same time, I had applied for a scholarship and a degree in the University of Sheffield to get a computer science degree. I got it, and then that's when I left from SHA. I didn't want to leave, actually, but I wanted to take advantage of the scholarship that I was given. I moved, and it's a University of Sheffield, but it was in Thessaloniki. They have an international faculty there. So I moved from Athens to Thessaloniki, and I finished my degree, and then I got back to Athens. And it's been great. A lot of obstacles, a lot of imposter syndrome. Yeah, all the time. Like, am I doing the right thing? Do I know what I'm trying to do? Do I really want it? Am I good enough? All of these things. But believe me, guys, every day matters. Every drop matters. I know that this is cliche, but it comes down to it. If you're committed enough, if you know that you like it, you will excel, just like I did.
Yeah.
And you will arrive to your goals. Some days will be difficult. Some days you won't do much work. Some days you'll doubt yourself. But if you continue to put yourself through it, I promise you'll arrive.
Yeah.
So
and opportunities will come along the way, and yeah.
Yes, of course. maybe you think you'll have an opportunity with some kind of a job, and then it doesn't work. I mean, don't lose hope. These things happen all the time, and you know that you're doing something that you like, something that has a demand. And if you think about it in the business way, there is a demand for more developers. I mean, I'm in the field. I work with other developers, and I know that people are looking for good developers all the time.
Mhm.
So if you become good at the thing that you like, I promise you, you'll be okay. Business-wise, life-wise, I mean, it's stressful sometimes when you break stuff, but that's part of every work, every job, right? Or part of everything that you do. Maybe you have a hobby. Even in your hobbies, you're gonna have some difficult things.
Yeah, definitely. Challenges are always there, and that's how we grow. That's how we learn. Also, by breaking stuff, that's also a good way to learn. You won't forget the mistakes if
Definitely, definitely.
yeah.
You learn by doing mistakes. When you do mistakes, it took me a long time, actually, Salim. You're completely right. It took me a long time to realize this. I mean, other people told me that, but I was never convinced until I, did it so many times. I
Yeah,
mean, it's better if you realize it earlier. You learn by doing mistakes. If you do a mistake, you will remember.
exactly.
Next time you encounter the same problem or the same challenge, you remember that you've been there before. You know all the ways that it can go wrong.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
So
expertise. I mean, expertise is not to know about stuff, but it's to know how to avoid, how, like, what are the things that will lead to issues and to be avoided and so on.
definitely.
Yeah. So since 2017. So SHA, we were in the offline model, and we were teaching on site. And with COVID, we changed our model to a fully online model. And we have now the community on Discord. We have launched a website lately where we are uploading modules with the free resources, contents, and so on. And we will be always adding modules there about web development and so on. So the mission and the vision is the same. That's the only thing that didn't change. So our mission is to try to make tech education accessible to everyone, and to try to help people to make a change in their life. Either they are career switchers like myself, and I think also yourself, Adel. And either you finished school and you want to get some more hands-on experience and so on. So that's what we do. Yeah, so right now we are teaching full stack web development and blockchain course. We teach the cloud practitioner certificate of Amazon, and we have our 22nd class starting next Monday. So yeah.
Fantastic news. Fantastic
Yeah,
news. Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of
I mean, I'm excited for you. Just keep going. I really support this mission, and I know that other people are trying to do similar initiatives in different countries, and I'm always in for it.
Mhm. Yeah, we actually participated in some EU projects when we were sharing knowledge with other organizations trying to open coding school in different European countries. So yeah, we are trying to, as I said, to make it to make tech education accessible to everyone, either through our organization or through supporting other organization and stuff like that. So yeah, this is SHA. So maybe Adel, let us know, tell us about the topic that we are covering, and let's get to it if you are ready.
Definitely. Excuse me. So today we're going to talk about this superpower, guys, that I discovered during my journey into learning to code and web development. And this superpower is great for coding, but also for solving real life problems. And I've tested it, as we said before with Salim. To begin, I'm going to share some slides with you, and then we're going to go into some live coding. Let me just bring this over here.
Yes, and while you are setting up your screens, so people, if you have questions, please drop them in the Q&A section of Zoom, and we will be answering them along the presentation.
All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. So break it down, build it up, componentize the world. So just to give a background, I'm going to be looking here at my other screen. So don't worry about that. I'm just looking at the other screen. So just to have some context about what are components, what are we talking about today? So as I said before, during my journey into coding, I discovered this superpower. I face a lot of problems, both in life and code. And I always thought, how can I solve these problems in the most efficient way and the most effective way? I don't want to spend my whole life trying to create a UI button, right? Or if I change something on the screen, the UI button just disappears and I don't know what it is. So I discovered this way that we can actually divide the problems into smaller problems. Maybe you've heard this before, dividing our problems, having a big problem that is like an elephant that you can't comprehend or you can't understand. So you break it down into excuse me, smaller pieces. And then you understand each piece on its own. So you can understand the bigger picture of the whole thing. So today we're going to talk about component-based thinking in two ways. First, we're going to talk about it and how you can employ it in real life and how it can help you solving real problems in your life, in your daily life. And then we're going to see how it makes coding much more enjoyable and all that much fun. This is an overview of our event today. We're going to talk about component-based thinking in real life. Then we're going to talk about component-based architecture. That's how it's officially called in the coding field in web development. And then we're going to see some code. I'm going to do some live coding where you can ask me questions. I can show you what I mean using a web framework. And then we're going to continue with questions in the end. So to begin, I'm hungry, right? I'm trying to make some food and I miss my country. Something that I haven't told you, I'm from Syria and I haven't been in Syria for 7 years. So I miss my food and I miss the food of my culture. So I want to make some falafel, but I'm in Greece, right? So I have to consider that too. So why not make some tzatziki with the falafel that I want to have? So I have this meal, let's say, that consists of two pieces, the falafel and the tzatziki, two different things, or we can call them two different plates, but it's a whole meal altogether. So how can I go about doing this? Let's see. To make the falafel, I need some chickpeas. That's the main ingredient when it comes to making falafel. Then I have flour. right? I need flour to make the thing works. And then I need some salt and garlic. Wait a minute. I need salt and garlic for both the falafel and the tzatziki. So what am I gonna do now? Am I gonna start with the falafel part of the meal or the tzatziki part of the meal? I'm kind of confused. I also need yogurt for the tzatziki. I need baking powder. I need lemon. I need coriander. I need parsley, onion, oil, cucumber. Okay, that's getting confusing. And I don't know about you, but like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's too difficult. Or maybe we can try again, right? Let's try again. So we have a meal that is made of 2 plates or 2 components. One component is the falafel and the other is the tzatziki. Let's see. So it's made of 2 parts. The first part is the falafel. But how can I arrive to this part here? This surely is made of other parts as well, right? It's made of other components that make this component that is part of one of the main components. Okay, so what do I need? I need also tzatziki as the other component, and then the falafel. I know I need raw materials mixture. But this raw materials mixture can be simplified even more. How can I simplify it? What do I need to make this raw materials mixture component? Well, I need chickpeas. I need baking powder. I need some onion. I need parsley or coriander, and then I need parsley, garlic, and salt. Great. Now I have the raw materials mixture. What else do I need to make the falafel? Well, I need flour to make it whole together. That's another important component to make our falafel component useful, that is edible. And we need some oil to fry the final result in. So you might ask me why the flour is not a part of the raw materials mixture. Because you have to have the raw materials mixture first ready, and then add flour as much as you need. Some people like to add more flour. Some people like to add less. Depends on the thickness of the raw materials mixture that you have. That's why flour is not part of the raw materials mixture. It's a different component that we need to arrive to the result, that is the falafel. Okay, so we have the important components to make the falafel, and we know how to make the falafel, or we have made it. What about the tzatziki? Okay, to make the tzatziki, we need yogurt, we need cucumber, lemon, and then we need salt. We need salt. We used a component that we have already used in another component. So we reused this component. Now, I have a reusable component that I can use in different components or in different foods or in different meals. Let's say it like that. And then we need garlic, the same thing. We are reusing the garlic component that we had already used in our raw materials mixture to make the falafel. And then some oil. Notice that the order doesn't matter. If tzatziki needs baking powder, I'm gonna use the baking powder because the baking powder is reusable. I can use it to make whatever I want. So you can notice that there are different concepts at play here. First of all, we broke down the meal into different components that are easier to handle. We are not overwhelmed anymore by the complexity of the falafel and the tzatziki meal. It's simpler now because now we have two different components that are simpler than the main meal. We have falafel and then we have tzatziki. We can break it even more. We can break it down even more because for me, this is complicated. I don't know how this is done. I want to break it down so I can solve it. So it's easier for me to understand and comprehend. So what can I break it down for? I can break it down to raw materials mixture. Imagine it in your mind, just a bowl with materials in it that you are mixing together. Okay, what is this raw materials mixture component? How can I arrive to it? Can I simplify it or can I get it off the shelf from the supermarket? Well, maybe you can get it off the shelf from the supermarket. That's not the point though. So we can break it down. We broke the main meal down to two components that we can handle in an easier way. And then we are breaking this component into other manageable pieces. And then we can go even further in simplifying things. So I need these 6 components to arrive to the raw materials mixture. Now, as somebody who's sitting at home who wants to make falafel, can I simplify these things further? Well, probably not. If I can, I will. If I know how to grow chickpeas, I will do that, or onions, or parsley, or coriander. But that's gonna take a long time. I want to cook it now, so I can't go more. I can't go simpler than this. So I have gone to the simplest form, and then now after I broke it all down, and then now I want to build it all up again, up the tree. So I use these to create this raw materials mixture, and then I have it ready. And then I look again, what do I need to make the falafel? What else? I need flour. I have the flour. I added the flour to the mixture. And then what do I need now? I need the oil. And now I can go up and I can build my component, or I can cook my falafel. The same thing goes for the tzatziki. Now, we said before that there are many concepts at play here. One of the concepts that we are breaking down the complexity to manageable pieces, and then we are using those manageable pieces to go up in complexity to have really useful complex components, delicious in this case, without being confused or feeling overwhelmed. So same thing with tzatziki. The other concept that is at play here, that we are reusing the components. When I go to make the tzatziki, I don't go to the supermarket again and get the salt or the garlic or the oil. I already have them. So I reuse what I already have in the mixture of the tzatziki. I hope this illustration has given you a better idea of what how we can think about problems. This is very simple, of course, but it might give you an idea about how we can deal with the real life problems that look complicated and break them down to pieces that are smaller and more manageable to arrive to a really useful result.
So yeah, Panayotis is saying excellent analog and kudos. And I wanted to acknowledge that you really break it down, to small pieces. And now I know what I'm gonna have for dinner tonight. So.
Thank you, Panayotis and Salim. Appreciate it. Do we have any other questions?
No, for the moment.
Right.
We don't. Yeah.
All right. I chose the falafel on purpose because I knew that people like food. I like food. I don't know about you, but I think most people do. Thank you. So We're gonna keep going in this presentation. Before we go to the live coding part, I wanted to, I mean, before going into any code, I want to set the stage, going into some theory. I mean, don't worry, I'm not gonna have any text on screen. That's the only text that you're gonna see, and maybe a little bit more, but don't worry, I'm not gonna bore you with a lot of text. So we have, we're gonna talk about this, and as we said, to set the stage for the live coding. I know that people who are attending are from different levels. Some people are beginners, some people are more advanced. So I've been thinking about how I can make this in the most useful way possible for everybody, for those who are beginners and for those who are more advanced. You will see when we go into the live coding part, and I can tell you some notes that so it can make things easier for you. But for now, let's talk about some concepts that we already mentioned in the falafel example that we talked about. But now we're gonna be more serious. Now there's no food. Now there's just like focus. So component-based architecture and web development. Mainly, I mean, when you go out there, when you look at Stack Overflow and you go to dev communities, everybody's gonna say something different, and people like fight all the time about this, but in good intentions. Let's say that there are three main concepts in component-based architecture and web development, and one of them is modularity. Now, what is modularity? One module, the word is module, and then to express that, we say modularity. So what is that? Think about it in Lego pieces. Everybody has seen Lego, right? I know I have, and I have stepped on many of them in my life. Painful moments. But so we can see here the small pieces of different colors, each one on its own is not that useful. It's not that useful, right? It doesn't, you can't do anything useful or pretty with one piece of Lego. You need many of them to make something that is either useful, beautiful, or both. So which is, there you go. I love this piece. It's by this artist, Nathan. I'm not gonna say his surname, because I'm gonna slay it for sure, but you can look him up. This is Starry Night by Van Gogh, which I really appreciate the real version of it and this Lego version of it. We can see here that the concept of modularity emphasized each Lego piece of the Lego pieces that you see here. I hope you see them. I don't know if the clarity of the image is
good. It is good. Yeah, really good.
All right. So these Lego pieces are called modules. You can see that there are like small rectangles, small Lego pieces, and each of them we can call a module. Now this blue module here on its own, if you have it in your hand, it's not useful and it's not nice. It doesn't look in some beautiful way, but if you put it with other Lego pieces that are also modules, all together, they make this really, really beautiful art piece. So the concept of modularity, it's different pieces in the most simple words. It's simple pieces that on their own do not do anything useful, but together with other modules, they can create something really nice or really useful, or both. You can think of that in terms of the human body. You can think that the organs are the modules, and the whole human is the product of putting these modules together. So moving on,
with this
the other two,
analogy, Adel, with this analogy, sorry, we can like sky is the limit. Then humans are modules into societies, and society are modules into countries, and then countries make so I mean, modularity is not only about coding, it's everywhere. So you can find the concept of modularity like in anything in this world. And this is one of the things that fascinates me about coding, also the encapsulation. So yeah, I just wanted to add this.
definitely, Salim. Thank you for your input. Definitely. Thank you for saying that. Definitely. As we said before, as we have seen before in the falafel concept, the garlic that we have seen, maybe we can get back to that. The garlic that you have seen here, you can think of it as a module. A module that is used for what? Of the raw materials mixture. Lemon is a module. Now, lemon on its own is okay. It's not bad. I mean, you can eat lemon and I mean, I do that. Some people call me crazy for eating raw lemon, but I do it. I don't care. But imagine tzatziki without lemon or without cucumber or without yogurt. It doesn't make sense. There's no tzatziki without yogurt. But yogurt on its own is not tzatziki. It has to be added with other modules together to create this. And then, as Salim put, you can take this to the whole universe. The whole universe is the product of smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller modules. Everything. The organs, as Salim mentioned, are the modules that make up the body, the human body. Humans are part of societies. So humans can be modules, and the society the same is the result of these modules. Of course, it gets more complicated when we talk about such complex scenarios and situations, but the idea is the same. The takeaway is the same. So moving on, I put these, so we said that in general, component-based architecture web development mainly has three concepts: modularity, reusability, and maintainability. So I put these two, reusability and maintainability, together for a reason. I put them together. First of all, because I don't want to bore you with too many slides. And the other reason is I'm using this analogy here. So we have a cog or a gear, some people call it. So this cog, I can use it inside of a machine, and then I can reuse it somewhere else. Remember when we talk about the reusability in the falafel example, we reuse the salt and the garlic. Well, here I have a gear. I can reuse if the machine that the gear is using broke, I can take out the gear and use it somewhere else. Or if I want to use the blueprint of the gear, I can use it in many types of engines or machines. So I can reuse it. And then the maintainability part is that we can see pieces here of some kind of a machine. Not sure what kind of machine is that. I took it from this site. But the point is that if this piece right here breaks, I can replace it. And then I can take it and fix it. And the machine keeps on working. If this piece here, if the whole thing was made together, if it was a monolith and it wasn't made of all of these 60 or so components, then fixing it would be very, very daunting and difficult. Because if anything breaks, you have to replace the whole machine, or you have to throw it away. Excuse me. So reusability and maintainability go together. I can reuse these parts somewhere else, and I can reuse their blueprint somewhere else. And then I can maintain the whole machine better. If a small piece breaks, I can replace it and fix that piece, or throw it away, and the whole machine will continue working. It will not stop working. So more or less, those are the main causes. I wanted to talk about them a little bit to set the stage for the live coding. Of course, we don't have a lot of time, a lot of time anymore, so we will see how we will deal with that. But if there are any questions, please go ahead.
No question related to this concept. People gave some suggestion in the food thing, like to change vinegar by lemon in the tzatziki and stuff like that. So we can go ahead.
Yeah. All right, send them in an email. I'll share my email in the end. Send me, please, good recipes. I wanna I wanna learn them. I know that different people prefer different types of things in their food, but
and same goes for coding.
The same goes for coding. We're gonna see that right now. Exactly. So since that there are no other questions, let's jump into some code, right? All right, I'm gonna stop my share screen for a bit to set my setup, and then I'm gonna share my screen again.
Okay.
All right. Can you all see my screen? You see it, right?
Yes, we can.
Cool. So this is a sneak peek into what we are trying to build today. Of course, we don't have a lot of time, so we'll try to do this quick. We have goals. This is like a goal achiever type of application. It's very, very simple. It's not complicated at all. I just wanted to make something for this event specifically, so we can discover the concept of componentization in like real code. So it's very simple. I can just add any goal I want. Let's say find the job, and then I can click on that goal. I can add some tasks to it, because every goal has to have some tasks to arrive to it. So I can add a task to this. I can add a new task title, maybe join a boot camp, maybe create a resume. If I create a different goal, find a house. That's what I thought when I first came to Greece. You can realize that's what I was thinking. And that's because we talked before about breaking down real life problems into components, and that's what I did. I broke them into goals, and then each goal has tasks, and then each task has steps, right? We don't have the steps here. Maybe we'll add them later if we have time. So find the house. I click there, and then it tells me find the house, has no task there. So maybe I can add a task. You get the idea. That's more or less it. So we have nothing here. That's like a pretty empty canvas to deal with. So we can bring up your favorite code editor, VS Code. So since that there is not a lot of time left, we're gonna do a lot of copy pasting. I wanted to do this from the scratch with you to write everything down, but we don't have a lot of time. So I'm gonna copy paste some things, but it doesn't matter because I'm gonna tell you, you don't have to know everything. So this is a basic React app. I don't know if any of you or some of you have dealt with the React apps before.
Yeah, some of the audience did.
Okay, thanks. It doesn't matter if you did, if you didn't. If you did, great. That's good. But if you didn't, that's fine. That's a very simple app. But I tried to make it interesting for both advanced and beginners, for both people who have dealt with React and people who haven't. So I hope you find it interesting. So it's a basic React app. You don't have to care about any of these. For if you are feeling a bit scared about this, you don't have to care about this right now. All these files, I used Vite to create them. Vite is like a build tool that you can build apps with, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to know that. The only thing that matters is this component, the app component, which whatever we do here is gonna, I have a running server now, so whatever I do here, like, and I save, I'm gonna see it here. So it's live. I mean, it's live on my computer, not live on the internet. But yeah, so you get the idea. We only need this. You only need to pay attention to this component and the components that I'm going to create. They don't exist yet. So let's go back here and think about this. Somebody comes and tells me, look, man, I want you to build this for me. And I'm overwhelmed. I'm like, how can I build this? Where do I start? It looks complicated. This is centered. I don't know how to center a div. I don't, that doesn't matter. But how can I have these two things that are almost identical, but not exactly? Because if I click here, I have a goal. If I click here, I have a task. So they're almost identical, but not exactly. I click here and it shows me the tasks that are related to the goal that I clicked. How does that work? I mean, at this point, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. Maybe I ask for help from somebody, or I feel that I'm an imposter and I don't know how to code. But no, components are here to save you. So let's think about this. So as I said, we're gonna do some copy pasting. We definitely don't have time to write any CSS, any styles. So I'm just gonna copy paste these. If anybody wants to have access to these to this code, I'm gonna tell me and I'm gonna upload it to GitHub and give you a link. If anybody's interested, I'm gonna give you also the end result. So we get back here to see what's going on. So it gave us some styles, doesn't matter. So let's begin. Let's think about this. Let me just move this out of the way. So let's think about this. We have a main container, it looks like a white container, and then inside of it, we have little containers, two little containers, sub containers, let's say. So we go here. This is like, this is called JSX. It's like HTML with extra features for those who don't know. But this is the app. component, which means that whatever I write, whatever I do here, it appears on my screen. Now it has styles because I attached styles to it. It's just like normal CSS and HTML. I am importing the CSS here. So let's begin by having by creating the main container here. So we have a div that has a class name main container. And it's going to appear because I have the styles here, but it doesn't matter. And then let's think about this. I have a sub container here. So let's create that sub container. Div class name sub container, class name sub container. See here. Oh, great, it created it. But we need two of them. 1, 2. So let's create another one. Just copy pasted that. All right, something's happening now. It's kind of similar already. Okay, so what do we do next? We need to have this header. So this header is composed of two things. It's composed of the title and then this add button right here. So it looks like one component here, like one part, let's say, which has these two parts. Let's call it the header. So class name, and for those who don't know, in React we use class name. We don't use class for reasons that are irrelevant now. I'm running out of time, that's why I'm going very quickly. If you want to go, if you want me to go slower, let me know. So sub container header. Let's see what we have done. Nothing. So let's see here. We have goals and we have a button. So we have some kind of a header, and then we have some kind of a button. So let's try H1. And then let's add for the button, let's make it a div. We don't care about semantics now. It should be a button, but we don't care about that now. Let's write goals here. So goals. Right. And then here it has a plus inside, and let me see what kind of class I gave. I think action. Yes, action button. So these are pre-made classes that I made before the event. They are irrelevant to the subject today. Just create a plus here. There we go. So we have goals, and then we have this plus here. It doesn't do anything yet because we don't have any action attached to it. But let's see, we need this here as well, don't we? So let's do that. Let's copy this part, put it here, and make it tasks. All right, goals, tasks. So that looks nice right now. But I'm noticing a pattern here. Is anybody else noticing a pattern? These two things are exactly the same, the subcontainer part. The only difference is the word goals and tasks. So getting back to the concept of reusability in components, in component-based architecture, this is not acceptable. We can create one component that can be reused over and over again, right? So, and this component looks to be the subcontainer component. So let's create a new folder here, because now we need to create components. And we're gonna create a new component called subcontainer. Now, for those who are asking themselves, why am I using JS6 and not JS? It's the same thing. Doesn't matter. It would have worked the same if it was JS.
It was already answered in the chat. Don't worry about it.
All right. I'm not looking at the chat, guys. If you can interrupt me, Salim, if you want.
Yeah, don't worry. I could answer that question, so I didn't want to interrupt you. So
Great. All right.
yeah.
All right. Thank you. So we have this and this that are similar. We want, because now imagine if I want to add another subcontainer. Like imagine this scenario. Like, by the way, I'm using Prettier, which is a code formatter. I wanted to go into this even more, but maybe next time, maybe next time. So Prettier just formats my code. Like if I have this right here, just like indents it correctly. So I'm gonna take this here. Actually, let's copy the whole thing so we can have the base React out. Then we paste it here. We remove this. We rename this because I made a mistake here. It should be uppercase. And then we can take this name. No. Then we can take this name and replace it here and here. And then we don't need these fragments. We don't need these. And we don't need this. So now I have this component that I can reuse. Remember, we are doing this to avoid writing more code. Because imagine this scenario here. Let's say that I want to have a third column here that says steps. And I want to click on a goal. And then I want to click on a task and see in the third column, I want to see the steps to that task. Let's say it's going to be like, I want to do this. Well, it's going to do that. And then I want to add, depending on the styles, this is because of the styles. It could be added to the right as well. And then I can do this and this and that. And then I have this mess. Here in the code, I mean, and it's all the same code. So why should I do that? I can just create a component, import that component into my app component. So components, subcontainer. And then use it twice here. Then I can do this. Let's see. Yeah. And there we go. It works exactly the same way. If I delete this, and then if I have many of them, it works exactly the same way. And we are reusing that component. So I want it twice, but now I have a problem. Both of them say goals. Because here it says goals. How can I fix that? Well, I can pass some props. This is specific to the library that we were working with. This is React. In Vue, it would work a different way. Vue is a different framework, and Angular is a different framework. Each framework has its own way to deal with props. Props meaning passing information from the parent component to the child component. A child component is any component that is contained in its parent component, which means the subcontainer is a child component of app. App is the parent component of subcontainer. But the way to do it, the idea is the same in every framework, in every UI framework. But they do it in different ways. The way that React does it, I want to pass something from the parent component to the child component so I can represent the data that I want. Well, I can do it like that. To write something that can be understood as JavaScript and not HTML, we have to put it in brackets. Props.title. And now it will work. No, what happened? Well, we forgot to put it here. We have to pass it. Title. And it works very similarly to normal HTML. So we pass the title here. We don't need that. And the first one is goals, and the second one is and there we go. If we take this and we go back, so that's it. So we have these two ways to deal with it. That's definitely much more clean way to deal with it. Now I'm noticing that we are running out of time, so I'm gonna start copy pasting the parts that we need. And we can do another session if you want, if you're enjoying this. But basically what I want to have is the goal component and the task component here. When I add this, I want to have this component, and then I want to have this component. So, all right. So I'm gonna create goal versus task. And this is a simple component. Yeah, I copy pasted it, but it's very simple. As you can see, it's just like that's the part that you care about, and this. And we're gonna see what this means in a bit. So if you notice in the subcontainer, I wrote props. Here, I'm just destructuring props. This means this is the same as props, but these two things are inside of it. So React is smart enough to understand that what I mean by these, I mean that everything that is passed here. Let me copy the task as well. Then we need the subcontainer. We need the button. This is the subcontainer. This is the button. So this should be passed in the props. Title, as we said, we can do it that way as well. So, okay, so Now we can do this here. And then this subcontainer needs three things. Needs the title, needs the on-ad click, and needs the disabled ad. Why do we need disabled ad? Actually, we don't need it. Let's not complicate things more than they are. If we had more time, we could do it. This is basically to disable the add button when there is no goal selected. If I refresh, none will be selected and this will work, but it doesn't matter now. All right, and then we are passing the title here, and then let's add the pop-up that we can add things with. I'm gonna go through these components. There is something I want to talk about that is important here. So if we see here, we see that we have this thing that this pop-up that we can use to add stuff to the list. It looks the same. It looks exactly the same for both goals and tasks. But it just changes this, the label, the title, and these add goal, and close. So what's up with that? Well, this is the add pop-up component. What time is it? So it's already 8. Salim, what do you suggest? Do you think I should continue the live coding, or I should bring the ready code and explain it?
I think it's better to bring the ready code and explain.
All right. So we're gonna replace this with this. All right. Let's go to the app component. We see here that we have the two sub containers that we had before. My plan initially was to write all of this in front of you so you can get some value out of it, but we don't have time, so it's okay. We can just go and explain the code that you see on the screen. So the points that I want to make clear is the componentization part. You don't have to understand anything. If you feel lost, don't worry about it. Doesn't matter. I just want you to the thing that I want you to go away with is the concept of componentization. What do I mean? We saw before here that we have these two subcontainers. There is one, there is two. One has goals and one has tasks because we are passing props to them. So the main container is divided into two subcontainers, and they are the same component. They are just used twice and passed different information. And then we go, and this is also one important part of it, is that this, as we said before, it's the same for both. Yeah, of course it's the same. It's just passed different information, the same. This is the add pop-up. We are passing to it when we show the pop-up. When we click on one of these, as we can see in the subcontainer, in the header, we are clicking on it. We are activating the on-add click function that we are passing to the component from the parent component, which on add click, which if we click here on the goal on the first subcontainer, you can see that it sets the flag to true, which displays it, and the type to goal. So what it does here, the component, it captures this, and then it shows it in the, it passes it to the add pop-up, which add pop-up takes it and puts it here. You can see goal title type. It's taking it from here and showing it. So again, reusability. This is the concept of we talked about that there is reusability. We're using the same components to create different stuff. All right, and again, the next very important, the other very important concept that I want you to go away with is the modularity. You see that if we take this on its own, this is useless. It doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't have a meaning. But together with this goals column, together with these item lists, together with the add button, all of these are little components made together. With the add pop-up, we have created something fantastic. Now, I also, if you want to see the pop-up container, maybe I want to create a different pop-up. Maybe I want to click on one of these and add steps, and I want to have the same general feel of the pop-up, but I don't want to have these things, goal title, add new goal, add goal. So what I created is add pop-up is a pop-up container, which I can use it wherever I want. Maybe I want a button to delete stuff, and the pop-up will appear and ask me for confirmation. Do you want to delete this task or goal? So I can use the same pop-up container. Notice if I delete this here, sorry, and I just put like whatever inside of here. Hi, social hackers again. And I click here, you see, and I can change the title. Components. See, so I can use this pop-up container to create whatever kind of pop-up I want, wherever I want in my platform, in my application. I created it once. I don't go every time I want to create a new pop-up. I create a new HTML template and I write the whole things again and the whole class, the classes and all the whole setup again. No, I create it once and I use it everywhere. I'm sorry for taking a lot of time to show this. I tried to go as fast as possible and to make it as useful as possible. I hope you find it useful. If not, I hope you found it enjoyable. I think I'm gonna stop here.
Thank you, Adel. And it was amazing. I mean, it was great. You covered
Thank you.
the concept that we discussed, and Panayotis is saying it was a brilliant presentation indeed, and would also love to see more with Adel regarding styling with React libraries in order to avoid using the good old CSS or Bootstrap. Thank you, Adel. Great. And
thank you, guys.
Peggy is also saying that it was very useful and great presentation.
Fantastic. I can see the comments now. I'm looking at them and I'm very happy that you liked it, guys.
Yeah,
I mean, if you need more of this, I mean, I'm happy to have more sessions, whatever you want.
Let's discuss it. If you have time and you are willing to do it, we can make some kind of a series or something like that. Well, let's discuss.
Sounds good. Sounds good. One push or falafel on me. Thank you, Panayotis. I appreciate it. Of course. Let's go for falafel and tzatziki. Maybe we should make them. I make the falafel, you make the tzatziki.
All right. So thank you very much, Adel. We will keep in touch.
Thank you, guys. Just let me share my last slides because I also couldn't continue the slides. Sure, I'm sorry. So guys, this is sorry. and girls. So I want, before we finish, I want you to go away with these thoughts. Component-based architecture is not a silver bullet. It's not like the thing that's gonna save everything. Sometimes you deal with old. Thank you, Panayotis. Yeah, for sure. Sometimes you deal with old code bases that components don't make sense. There are still huge code bases that people use every day that have like millions of people, huge traffic, but they are not built with components and they cannot be rebuilt. These situations exist. So when if somebody tells you, if your boss tells you, let's say if at your work we can't do this, we can't componentize our application, I mean, search for the reason. The second thing, plan before you build, avoid over componentization. If something is already too simple, try not to go down the spiral of componentizing everything. Some things do not need to be a component. Some things work as they are. And the last thing, when things get complicated, this is a rule for life and code. When things get complicated, componentize them. That's it. If you have any questions, this is the time. And this is if you want to reach me through my email or LinkedIn or whatever.
I was thinking about your contact and maybe the code base of the code that we were going through. If you could share them with Dimitar, so he adds them in the description of the video that we will upload tomorrow.
Definitely. I will do that either now when we finish or tomorrow morning. I'll text Dimitra and you will have a link.
Take your time. All right.
Thank you everybody for coming. I'm very happy to be here and I hope you found it useful, if not at least enjoyable, and maybe see you in the future.
I'm pretty sure both, and people were saying that in the chat. Thank you very much again, Adel, for your time and for joining us and being around. And yeah, let's
happy to do it. Thank you, Salim, for managing all of this and coordinating it. It must be I mean, a headache, but thank you.
You're more than welcome. So yes, and thank you everyone for joining. I wish you all a nice end of the day, evening. So thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Bye-bye.